the best option is always to make sure that you don't get marine fouling in your intake pipe, because marine fouling is organic material. So if you have marine fouling and you're going to add chlorine, well, you're going to try to mitigate, to kill marine fouling or to remove it. And by doing so, you're releasing organic material to the water, which could have an impact downstream in your utility. So, well, basically, the best way forward is always in the design phase of a plant, take this topic serious and take it into account during the design of the plant. At EDS this year, I'm going to do a presentation focusing also on this topic, the importance of taking this serious in design of a seawater intake. Unfortunately, in reality, we end up getting involved in utilities where there is a problem. And where there is a lot of marine fouling, and then the question is, okay, how do you deal with it without upsetting the RO membranes? Well, it depends very much on the location. So first you need to understand, okay, what kind of fouling do we have? What are the species? What is the impact? And then try to clean the intake pipe in a more controlled way. And that's something we have done in many cases, using the knowledge of the behavior and how to mitigate and how to prevent it, but also use that knowledge how to, in a controlled way, try to clean the pipe, that you get rid of your marine fouling as much as possible, but try to minimize the impact on the membranes or the nanofiltration upstream. And that's a bit of a, that needs really a thorough understanding of the local situation. But it is possible. I mean, we've done it, we've proved it. We had, not too long ago, we had a client with a seawater RO plant with an intake which was heavily fouled with mussels. I think the diameter was reduced with at least 30%. And we were able to clean it in a slow way, to give the plant sufficient seawater again to produce according to design without upsetting the filtration or the RO membranes. And that process took about 3-4 months, but we were able to get to that point. And once you get to the point, it's important to maintain a clean intake, obviously.
Definitely. You said something very important. I think your session with Mario Valente, no, or the paper with Mario Valente. I think it's very interesting because you said something very important is to not to work already, in operation, but how we can implement this in the design stage. But actually, design stage has different stages at the same time. So I don't know, because I will tell you, what I receive, as a contractor. So I don't know. My opinion, this should be not designed after, let's say, once the project is starting. Let's say I will say that it's even before, in the feasibility study or in the environmental study or a preliminary stage, because when I receive a request for a proposal, for a new desalination plant, as a contractor, my client, it can be a developer, okay, which is putting the private equity and committing Atari, like a PPP project, or a utility, with their own specifications. So usually what I receive is, let's put a big electrochlorination plant, okay, like let's spend $1, $2, $3 million in having an electrochlorination plant with a capacity of whatever, because I want to cover. So it's a lot of money already that I already received in my request, and this is it's a cost that I'm going to commit. Okay, so once I receive that, I cannot probably go backwards. Let's say, okay, let's try to give a second thought. No, I am going to spend already a huge amount of capex in this regard, or also, for example, requirement for pigging system. So okay, I sure that I need to clean the pipe. So again, let's put an expensive pigging system, which can maybe complex also the piping and the hydraulics and so on. So I think that actually the design should be right, and to implement it in the specification for asking for the price for the capex and opex, because otherwise later it's very difficult, because actually we just execute what is written, and maybe later Mario Valente, the Hugo Costa, has no time to implement these studies during the execution stage, because all the desalination plans are fast track, all of them. So I think this preliminary stage and raising awareness in decision makers in utilities and consultants, I think is very important. I don't know if you agree with me in this regard or you see differently.
No, I fully agree.